So we are starting with the second panel discussion. The topic is AI, cybersecurity, and digital trust, building the intelligent enterprise of the future. The moderator of the panel is Mr. Anurag Goyal, Head of Cybersecurity, New Delhi. Our panelists include Mr. Soumak Roy, Vice President Cybersecurity, SDG Corporation, Noida; Mr. Deepak Boora, Director, Data Security Council of India; Mr. Rajveer Singh, Senior Risk Officer and Global Lead, Saxo Bank, Gurgaon; and Mr. Sanjay Kaushal, Global CISO, Orbit Techsol, New Delhi.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. A fresh panel after the lunch, the best time. And yeah, we are going to have a strong discussion on AI in cybersecurity. And we have with us Soumak, who is the VP in cybersecurity at SDG Corporation. So, Soumak, do you want to introduce yourself a little more about your work?
Yeah, so hi everyone. I know it's a post-lunch session and good to be here. About me, I have been in the industry for last 25 years. Throughout my career in cybersecurity, been a hands-on analyst, developer, and leading the practice globally for SDG Corporation, working across fraud management, cloud security, AI security, which is a new buzzword, and we can talk more today, zero trust, and other evolving areas. Thank you.
Also, if you can talk just one line about your company as well, what does it do? So that we know what context we will be talking about.
Yeah, so SDG is a cybersecurity consulting and services company catering to Fortune 500 customers worldwide. And we operate in spaces across identity security, zero trust, some of the area I mentioned, which I work in personally, fraud management, risk management, and of course, security operations.
Thank you. Coming to you, Deepak. So, if you can introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you to the team for having me as a panelist and my fellow panelists. So I'm Deepak. I belong to Data Security Council of India. We are an industry body, a subsidiary of NASSCOM, and we basically work extensively in areas of cybersecurity and data privacy. Being an industry body, we work with all the stakeholders, be it public, private, industry, academia, startups, MSMEs, and we basically work on the policy areas of cybersecurity and data privacy. That is on the company front. As a personal, at the personal level, what I do is I take care of CSR skilling programs. That is, we are driving a charter of women in cybersecurity because we all know inclusive approach is the right approach. And I lead couple of programs in cybersecurity, and most I can share the program names are Cyber Shiksha and Cyber Vahini. That we lead, where we train young women professionals in cyber, and then it's a approach of the vision is that we should have inclusive cybersecurity workforce, because believe it or not, the future is only will be safeguarded if we have got well-skilled workforce into cyber, and women is a very integral part of it. Thanks.
Totally agreed, and I think everyone in the audience would be knowing DSCI, of course, so working with that. So coming to Rajveer, so can you introduce yourself, Rajveer?
Sure. Very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rajveer and part of Saxo Bank. It's a Danish investment banking company, fintech, and we operate globally, so majorly in UK, Europe, China, Japan, Singapore, Switzerland. And my portfolio over here is to look for security risk along with the regulatory compliances across the globe. So that is what we do.
Okay, thank you so much. Lastly, we have Sanjay. So Sanjay, if you can introduce yourself.
So hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm a Sanjay Kaushal. I'm a global CISO in the Orbit Techsol India Private Limited. And Orbit is into the multiple business, Orbit like the AI. So we are on developers when we work with the customer use cases, and we take care of the like agentic AI and digital worker and automations, plus the AI security as well. And we are like the consulting as well as the SI, where we provide 360 degree of the solution to the customer based on the requirement, like the now DPDP consultancy, GDPR, what's come into the pictures, what solution come, and then yes, the workflow as well as managing 360 degree of infrastructure, the cyber security, and then anything like knock SOC on the advanced level.
That's perfect. So we are going to get some really good insights about the AI and its collaboration with cybersecurity. So starting with you, Soumak, if we are talking about the threats in cybersecurity and in respect of AI, what are the emerging threats that you think are emerging in the industry for AI?
Well, that's an interesting question to start with. The way, I think it is, AI has not introduced new attack patterns. Many of us may think that AI is introducing new attack patterns. No, that's not right. What AI has done is AI has reduced the time to attack and the time to plan the attack. So everything is fastened up with AI. So things which used to take like 2 weeks for attacker to do reconnaissance, plan the attack, do the assessment, and then create the 0-day or identify the vulnerability, exploit. Over 2 weeks period, it is currently possibly be done in two hours or within a day's time. So that's the quantum of difference, and that's what is really threatening. Broadly speaking, if we have to identify top 3 challenges that we see with the evolution of AI, number one that we as organization and I individually personally see is that the AI-led social engineering has tremendously increased. So what we see is, when I joined, the industry like 20 years back, and we were taught to how to identify phishing attacks, the first thing was that you should look for typos in the email. You should look, for emails with errors, because these were mainly something called Nigerian fraud. Emails were originating from Nigeria, targeting users in India and other parts of the world, and they were not good in English. So there used to be typos. Those just disappeared completely. They're extremely professionally crafted emails that are sent with the help of AI, right? So even the challenges that the attackers, the fraudsters had, AI helped them overcome those challenges. It helps them draft, create extremely professional, well-targeted emails, right? So that's number one. On social engineering, we also see, increase of deepfake-based audio attacks, deepfake video attacks, where deepfake audios and videos are used to impersonate leadership of a company. We know that a classic case happened in Hong Kong, a couple of years back, where, the finance leader was told by the CXO of the company to transfer a specific amount to an account over a fake video, deepfake video, and it was so convincing over a Teams call that the finance executive actually did that, right, without realizing it is a fake video over a Teams call. Someone joined. So this is real. This is not in theory anymore, right? So we are seeing the nuances of AI. The third thing I'd like to mention is, and that's something, there's a buzz in the industry, in the world today, is about cloud mythos, right? It has disrupted the thinking process. It is in a preview mode, so most of us, I believe, in this room have never touched it, including me, but we are reading a lot about cloud mythos, right? The capability it has, it was able to find vulnerabilities in 30 plus years old operating system. It can chain vulnerabilities and lead to attacks, right? So it's really scary that's going to happen. So what this kind of model, AI model, is doing is that they are reducing the time of identifying the vulnerability and exploiting the vulnerability. Earlier it was like few months from identification of vulnerability to exploitation. Now it's probably few days that an exploit kit can be created and it can be utilized to target a organization. So I think these are the 3 top, I think, threats that I see with the evolution of AI.
Thank you so much for that, and it's actually getting above the head once we are thinking about all of these attacks coming into the picture, because we totally understand for the deep fakes, which are getting more and more real. Now there as per the recent trend I was just viewing last night, there is a new trend where people are creating their own videos in the stadium also, which is a very common one. So it actually looks like you are being covered via some of the cameramen, and they are focusing on you while you're sitting in a stadium. All these things are becoming real. The gap which we had earlier from the real and fake has almost diminished. You can create animations, you can create videos which are almost real, and we know that. But we have Rajveer, who is coming from the banking side of the industry. And Rajveer, when we think about AI, and we know that we are working towards more and more models of AI which are helping you towards the trading systems, and they are bringing you real-time tradings, and the gaps are in milliseconds of their trading, that they are executing the orders or they are doing some of the operations. On the cybersecurity front of it, what are the challenges that you face, and how are you trying to mitigate them, including the log keeping of such big volumes and AI engines which are continuously forcing those outputs into your systems? What are you doing for that?
So yeah, good, fantastic question. And I would like to highlight that what we need to understand is that there was some traditional ways of working when it comes to cybersecurity, where it was more of endpoint, network security, parameters, and so on and so forth, where people used to think that security is a, a department which restrict or which control. Now I think the evaluation of AI had changed the ways of working, where it is no more a restriction or a control. It is rather than security being an enabler from the design phase. So rather than being a security from the traditional point of view, I believe the evaluation brings us to be a architecture, starting from the design point of view, bringing the security and ensuring that the world needs the speed, and similarly the organizations are. So we are not here to challenge AI, we are here to ensure that we have a safe usage of AI, we have the right things are in place, and we ensure that it is not a matter of compliance, as you said, that that happens post the applications are designed, that happens post the transaction happened. This has to happen from the starting point, where we design it in a manner that we have the right visibility, and we have the right monitoring, and we have the right control wherever possible. We need to also understand that what data sets we are using to utilize the outcome of the AI. So the traditional equipments, the traditional tools were not built in a manner that they could have that level of visibility. So that's the evaluation that we also need to do, that what tools that we have in place to ensure that let's say a transition is happening, what all challenges that it can bring from the AI perspective, how we will mitigate it, and that has to be built from the design phase, I believe. That's more from the transition point of view. When it comes to compliances, yes, being a global organization, there are a number of compliances that you follow, and I believe it's a good deal, because of the reason that some governance or some monitoring is very much needed. With being a European company, we have AI Act that has been introduced in Europe, and we had to comply. I mean, being a financial organization, I believe it's a shift. It is no more a reason of how AI can work and what AI can bring. Rather, as an organization or as an individual, you need to think that how much you can trust AI, and how well you can utilize AI with that trust. As an organization, if you invest your money to a financial institution, for the first thing that you think about the trust, you know that none of the organization, none of the banking is separate and not using AI. Everyone is. However, you would always choose or prefer with somebody where you build a trust, where you know that your data, your money and everything is secured, because the bank knows how to operate with the current scenario of AI. So the speed will remain there. We are not challenging AI. I personally have a thought that AI is a fantastic tool. So it is AI versus AI. So if we believe that the bad actors are using AI in a certain manner, as a defense, we should also create ourselves, or we should also educate our teams how to ensure that the bad actors could not exploit or breach what we are doing on a day-to-day basis.
That's true. And since we are talking about governance, and I would pitch another question to you for that. Since we are talking about governance, and since Saxo Bank is operating in multiple jurisdictions of governance, we have Danish governance, which is there, Danish law. We have GDPR, we have DPDP, and maybe multiple others which are which are leading for you. When it comes to applying some of them, or what to choose in some kind of controls, maybe in AI, what is that adhering factor that tells you that, boss, this is the one that you should take care of, and this must be led. Let's say it, in case of data storages, it may be about consent management, it may be about the criticality of your data, it may be anything. So how do you rate that?
True. So coming, as you said, that we have Danish FSA to be there. We had DORA, which is a very, very stringent compliance to be taken care. Similarly, we also follow whatever, not RBI, but the other areas of, that has been recommended in India, just like DPDP. We also need to take care of GDPR. We also do FINMA in Switzerland. We do TRM guidelines in Singapore, and that goes on and on. However, what I believe is, if you have your own governance model as an organization, it is more of a risk-driven approach. So compliance, as I said, would by default be met if you are ready. So the idea is not to meet the compliance, but the idea is to mitigate the risk. And to mitigate the risk, let's say we utilize NIST framework, we utilize COVID framework, and that's how we build our control environment. And now with all those acts and guidelines coming in, they also want AI to be part of it. We know that the traditional way of doing is let's say authentication on humans. Now there are new non-human IDs. How do you utilize your intelligence to ensure that you have a different set of monitoring? How you enable yourself with third party into this? Because let's say we have been operating globally, but the vendors may come from different region. Right. So all these challenges can be only solved when you have your own organization governance committee, whereas in earlier it was more that CISO used to hold all the tools and technologies and responsibility to ensure that everything remains secure. The world has changed. Now it is no more a CISO as an individual. Now it is CISO, legal, DPO, business enablers sitting together in an AI governance committee, and that's how you solve the problem which was solved earlier in 6 weeks. It's now been, let's say, 24 hours or 48 hours. So this is the model that one has to adopt to evolve and remain in the speed as a need of the customer.
That's an important point. Coming to you, Sanjay, when we talk about the attacking side of the things, so we know that the attackers are also using the SOC and the AI favored tools and to attack the systems, and on the other hand, we are sitting on the other side where we are protecting the organizations with the SOC capabilities or the AI enablement into our systems as well. What is the difference that you see in the SOC managements or the reports and the firewall managements? What is the difference that you observe while you are sitting at the protection side of the things?
So, okay, these days now fight is AI versus AI. Now we are using AI attacking us, as Soumak says, and Rajiv says now. So we have to be very, like predictive analytics would be very strong. If yes, somebody strike AI is attacking us like the hacker, they use phenomenally as AI. So they need a time of attack is a millisecond and then nanosecond and a minute. So we're talking to the security operations centers now is not traditional in the legacy security operations centers. There is like a next gen with the AI, because AI, if somebody attacking on AI, we need to stop by AI, taking a decision in a minute and what kind of traffic is coming to us. So now is a modern SOC where we use the AI for analytic, for correlation, for alerts, and then yes, identify what is top traffic is coming as a vulnerable traffic, is a what is source, what are the destination, and the analytic is a superb because of the AI. If you use SOC on AI based SOC, and when I say yes, we can use AI as a predictive analytic, but yes, not as a decision maker, because they can make a disaster into the company. Like if I'm saying that now AI, there's a attack on a server, AI taking a decision, shut down the server, then definitely is a production harm. So this definitely, when new technology comes like AI, everybody is on a theoretical and the practical and the assumption and the exception. We are around the theory and the practicals. Yes, we are getting mature, the world is getting mature, and then yes, the pros and cons is everywhere. How do we use with the use cases as an enabler, as a to avoid the like repetitive task, and yes, and quality of work. So coming back to the SOC is like threat is coming, what are the, so attack surface is very good. Two kind of things, internal attack surface management and external attack surface management. That give excellent super visibility of the threats, attack, vulnerabilities, and then yes, predictive analytic, what is happening in your environment, what's going into environment. And then yes, visibility and controls, what control requires to protect the data, what controls are missing into the AI, plus your data structure, your networks, towards your endpoints, towards your firewall, either you're talking on a cloud, your container security, everything is visible, and then yes, they're taking a preventive action in order to avoid the attack and then breach of your data, trust, building a trust with the AI, and then internal, the productions, the regulation, compliances, guideline, yes, but AI has a different risk assessment, which is, different than the legacy and the traditional. That has to be program is getting mature these days.
That's true. And before we come to Deepak, so on the same lines, when I was working towards attacking a chatbot, which was at the very initial days of when these chatbots, AI chatbots were coming, well, we are on the attacking side of the things. So I come from the attacking side. I'm a pen tester initially. So when we come from the attacking side, I was testing one of the global platforms which is integrated with almost 500 plus companies around the world, and they have their futuristic chatbot which you can integrate and you can easily work with that. While I was testing it, everything was running fine with it. But looking at the other side of the vulnerabilities has to be taken care of. So they had a token which was instigated with your application or your organization, and that token is specifically used for all the billings, all the conversations that you're having, and they are built for those sessions that you are maintaining with that. I found a bug that I used that token, I pulled it up, and I launched it on some other website, my custom website, and the chat session started over there. Now, I reported the same bug to them, and they came back, no, Anurag, this is not a bug, this is a feature for us that you can integrate it with anyone or anywhere. I said, okay, I'm publishing this on your dark web, on this vulnerability on the dark web, and I'm giving this bug or this feature to everyone who can use your chatbot on all kind of websites where they want to bug you or they want to target an organization. You are integrated with 500 organizations. Let them use it on pornographic websites, on misleading websites, phishing pages, everywhere, and let's see what impact it brings to the companies where it is already used readily on their front pages. And later on they accepted it and they fixed it. So not just looking at the AI side of the vulnerabilities, but on the back end of the vulnerabilities as well. So similarly, on coming to Deepak. So Deepak, when we are thinking of AI and its integration with the companies and the laws, DPDP law, we do not have those maturity yet, and the companies are still facing multiple difficulties around that. What are some of the things that you see while sitting there on the compliance side, as well as the company's adoption for AI as per the law, DPDP law?
Yeah, thanks, Anurag. So, see, DPDPA, even this word came how long? 2-3 years back only, right? And if you see this act, which would be soon into force, it's an intimation of the European GDPR only. This is what is my inference, my personal remarks. But the organizations are still very confused. US has got its own, data privacy rules. UK has got its own. Europe has got its own. Australia has got its own, and we have got so many organizations work in India, like Rajveer just mentioned. They have got so many rules to follow, so many compliances to take, right? So as you said that an Indian organization is confused, right? Because it has got so many stakeholders that are following different rules. Now it has to follow the Indian DPDPA Act. So what is the outcome? What's the solution? So what we have, think through or we have thought through is that you need to first of all start with your own systems. You need to have a certain your organization governance parameter, and you should see that it should be customized to the rules that are coming in DPDPA, right? I understand that Saxo banks work on different compliances, but somewhere or the other line they have to also inherit or follow DPDPA Act because they are operating out of India, right? So another thing can be that you have to maybe make your internal digital systems such robust that there would be minimum data leakages. You have to also upskill your employees who work with sensitive data, that are they really confident of not leaking data, right? I know it would be a hard task, but somebody or someone has to start it. Today we see AI. We are already using the term AI versus AI. So harmful effects of AI, who is going to stop? we are going to stop it. AI will not stop it. We have to give, maybe develop such skill force who would actually counter the threat actors, right? So everybody, whether it's a Saxo bank, scaling its financial workforce, whether it's Shovik, his organization scaling his own workforce, whether it's or whether it's a supply chain mechanism, we have got such in India. We have got so many organizations in critical infrastructure. What happens if AI attacks those organizations? What are DPDPA compliances for those organizations? If you speak to any PSU person, he will say DPDPA wo kya hota hai? Right. So the fact is that somewhere down the line, every organization has to develop a framework. It has to first of all find out what are the vulnerabilities that it is facing, what are the external facing roles that it has. So this can be a starting point for any organization to actually comply on global and Indian standards.
So when you say that PSUs may not be knowing, or some of the other companies who do not know about DPDPA, being sitting at the center zone of it, so DSCI helps and facilitates a lot of these areas. What is DSCI's role, or what are you trying to do to influence these people who are not complying? Is there some areas?
Right. So what we do is we basically work on the policy areas. We do bring out white papers and reports that what structure any organization should follow. Right. We're not saying that we are making mandatory requirements, but we do issue recommendations from time to time. You can see that on our webpage. So many reports available. Plus what we also do is, like we recently did a study with SANS Institute. It provides professional certifications. And we were really surprised to see that 73% of organizations and enterprises, they are having, they have the systems, but they don't have skilled manpower to comply and to work on those systems, whether it's cyber or AI systems. And we also did, the study also showcased that an organization takes 1 month to 6 months to fill a cyber or a AI enabled opening. So, such is the skill shortage in the ecosystem and the market, right? There could be people like you who have, got the chance to be a attacker and to be a defender on both the sides. But what is happening are our youngsters who are our engineering students, are they getting those chances? Is our university curriculum aligned to such such important technicalities? So that's why we started these programs, Cyber Shiksha and Cyber Vahini, where we are actually giving youngsters a chance to play and chance to get exposure of these early technologies. And I'm happy to share that our alumni are being, you think of any organization, the chances that our alumni would be working there. They're also working in state cyber cells, right? So such is the impact. So I believe through this forum, I make a request to our government organizations as well that to counter AI, nothing will happen overnight. We have to maybe enable our youngsters to get into the things from very start. Like organizations are doing it, they're doing capacity building for their internal employees. Similarly, we have to make it a habit that awareness is the best defense for AI. This is what I feel.
That was a really detailed insight. Thank you so much for that. Now I'm going to ask a question to we have one person we have two people who are on the services side, and there is we have Rajveer who is from the organization side. When we look at the line of technology, AI powered attacks or AI powered technology which is there in the company versus the other areas, weak areas which are emerging due to that, what is the thing that you face? So we can start from Sanjay. So when we say that, what are the things that you think are emerging which are accept the risk of technology? What are the other areas which are emerging due to AI in the system?
So as of now, Unisys in the cyber security, a lot of OEM, they inbuilt AI into their ecosystems. That is help us in order to see the traffic and the vulnerabilities and the attack on like defensive depth layer. Like example, somebody's attacking on the application layer. So my application production like WAF, web application firewall, that's come with the AI. They can tell you very clear pictures that these are the attack happening, what are the country and what kind of, like to understand tactic and procedures. So at least we can have like a defensive and offensive both kind of role we can play. And it's a layer by layer we can control with the AI. So because of 360 degree of the integration, so now is a different kind of agentic AI from the OEM1, OEM2, OEM3, and correlate all the logs and the data. So we can protect and prevent the organization like, says Mythos attack. What vulnerability, how do we prevent and protect those vulnerabilities, kind of work around. So we can minimize the risk. Yes, whenever we are we are adopting the AI, use as a tool, not as a decision maker. So at least we can avoid the harm to the companies and the data. And yes, before adopting any new technology, do the risk assessment before proceeding, what kind of the pros, cons, benefit. And yes, role base is very important, like behavior of the AI. So in the technology front, we are like also in a SOC, we are building like what is behavior of AI? What level of access the AI has? What role AI can play into the ecosystems? And what use case we want to achieve? Plus, so like Rajveer says, DORA, Digital Operational Resiliency Act. How do we maintain and manage those agentic AI and generative AI? In terms of LLM has to upgrade. Your command line should not get poisoned, so make a disaster. Plus, yes, in case of got encrypted, do you have the right control in place? And what would be your recovery timeline? MTTR, recovery point object. How soon? Otherwise, it can be disaster. And yes, data and image and identity is everything. So says risk assessment, governance of AI, the compliances of AI, start with the use case. It's like community, says departmental. So like Rajveer already says the multiple department identify the risk assessment and the risk report. Plus now another CISO has started the AI-based risk assessment and submitting risk registers, risk report to the boards. Before adopting like blindly, AI is like everywhere is AI. So now what happened? What disasters? So now before earlier in a legacy we start like business continuity model, disaster recovery model, cyber resiliency and AI resiliency. The two things is the new things in the market where we need to take care. And then yes, pros and cons is everywhere. But yes, in a cyber security, I'm getting more and more detailed visible report that is helping me to stop the cyber attack.
Thank you so much. And Soumak, do you want to add on to something what he has shared? So when it comes to AI-led enterprise securities, what are the things that you think are beyond that? What are the risks that are beyond that are not covered into that and it is emerging?
So I'll keep it short and very simple. Sanjay has given a great insight. When we see enterprises that are adopting AI, full-scale AI adoption, they are using it for everything. What we see in most occasions is they are behind the benefits of AI and the governance and security is lagging behind, right? So they are picking up third-party LLMs, they are picking up, providers and vendors without thorough assessment, without really doing a proper implication assessment of what if something goes wrong, what is the data security posture, because in AI, when the models are trained, there is a huge amount of data that goes in the training process, right? Can the model be injected to prompt and data be leaked, right? I think we run behind success and business cases. We leave security behind in AI, AI-only enterprises in the new generation, right? So I think the gap has to increase. Security is always, follows that, but we see with the AI enterprises, there's a huge gap. Security is afterthought. We need to adopt AI. That's the first thing because everyone is doing it, right? And this is also for personal life. When we as an individual, as an employee, we try to automate our, simplify a lot of our day-to-day tasks. We upload data into ChatGPT, into Gemini, into Claude, without thinking the implication, right? Because we are thinking only, my job will be easy. I don't have to spend 1 hour in working on that worksheet. It can be just done in a couple of seconds, right? Same goes to the enterprise, right? So I think that's the biggest risk I see. We should reduce the gap and have them, work together. If that calls to slow down the pace of AI adoption, let's slow down the pace of AI adoption, but let's make sure security is there.
After the shadow IT, we have now come
shadow
to the shadow
AI. Exactly. I didn't even the terms.
So,
shadow AI is popping up, right?
So Rajveer, when we are talking about shadow AI in the systems, and you are sitting on the financial chunk, which is the most critical data for any organization as well as for the individuals, all your customers. What are those risks that you think are coming beyond those enterprise AI adoption risks which we are talking about? What more risks that you think or you face?
So to be honest, I wanted to start with that one thing that we all has to accept is that AI is the future. There's no coming back. There's no, separating ourselves, not adopting it. There's no other way around. Ultimately, you have to. The only challenge that all, I believe, organizations are facing today is AI evaluation or, AI risk identification is not as fast as we wanted to adopt it to enable our business. And hence, many of the countries are not yet ready with their acts. Many of the countries do not have, stringent guidelines how to utilize AI, right? Especially countries where the data, we know that data is the gold mine and data is the value, still the data is being misused, right? We're now coming up with DPDP Act, people are acknowledging it, the organization will take some time to accept it, enable themselves to ensure that we are up to that level. Whereas by the time we believe that AI Act would come into India, we would have mostly organization would be adopting it and running, the show in all the departments. And as you said, from the risk perspective, AI is not something which is an IT or a security tool. It is being utilized across all industries, all departments, and everywhere, right? Hence, it is not an individual responsibility also to enable ourselves on the shadow IT, as you said. We need to ensure that, as the gentleman correctly said, the awareness is my first step, that people know that what they're doing. People know, and I have a very fantastic example. The last night I went to a mall. There was a gentleman, took my number and name, and he offered me a free parking. So he said that in the mall, you'll get a free parking. We will do a kind of a small registration where I will be needing your phone number, your date of birth, and so on and so forth. Me being a security person, I said no to him. But I have been seeing that 20 people, just for a free parking, had been submitting their data.
Data is oil.
And it is very easy. Where somebody on the general store says that your bill will be generated and you'll get it on WhatsApp, all you need to do is to give your number and maybe 5 more details, right? So you'll get some offers and things in future. We are already fighting in some other way where AI is a new giant along with all these challenges. The only starting point is awareness. However, I think the world has been moving very fast, and the tools have now integrated more exposure onto AI, giving more visibility. The shadow IT thing is ultimately earlier when it was challenging, because earlier it was our data centers and moving to cloud and moving to third-party applications. It was earlier even a big giant for us. With AI, the only difference is that it can bring more risk to individual or the organization. However, shadow IT, I think, had always been a equal challenge since we have started adopting, the third-party supply chain and global data centers and so on and so forth.
All of those pointers are there. We have been submitting data and we continue to do that. Yes, please, Sanjay.
So in the COVID, we have seen like the many doctor and everyone is a doctor, right? So in the AI, if we talk about the AI, every organizations and the people and the body has a different view altogether on the AI. At the risk assessment, adoptions, a different in number of views, because we are getting mature. We started. Yes, adoptions, I agree with the Rajveer and the teams. Yes, adoption is necessary to grow up in the country, in the organization, firm. But yes, we are facing like a doctor's concept.
Yeah, moreover, we are now seeing that everyone. I would just change that line. I would say that everyone is a manager also in the company. So earlier, when you used to do some work and you used to go to your manager, you used to get him checked that work. Now, if a manager is giving you some work or he has done some work, you can use your AI to manage his work or you to check what he has done. And that is, I think, all the managers are doing and all the fellow mates are also doing.
In this case also, when marketing people, they upload the data on ChatGPT,
Oh, yeah.
we need to take care of like shadow AI and the data security, data risk with the proxy and all things.
A common thing that we usually run means in the awareness sessions is to get them a PDF and change some words in that PDF. Whenever you will give that to the non-tech people or the people who have not been very vibrant with the technology, they will immediately open the Chrome, they will type how to convert this to doc. They will upload it on the doc and they will get the changes done, convert it into PDF and then send it back to you on the groups, wherever you are running that chain of awareness. And it is interesting. So
Anurag, as Sanjay ji said, we are still not aware what data should we give to the prompt tool, right? It could be absolutely personal data that I am sending on the prompt tool. If I am working for a PSU, it could be absolutely critical data that I am sending on the prompt tool, right? We don't know at the end that prompt tool is sending data to which, a pro country of India or a anti country of India, right? So I believe that all organizations, we have got big organizations working with us as our members also. We repeatedly say to them that please conduct awareness sessions for your employees, so that if they are empowered first, then also they can empower their family members, because now you see class 6th and 7th students, they are using ChatGPT. So we cannot stop data leakage, right? Awareness is the only defense mechanism that we have. Unnecessarily people, students are sharing data of their parents across various AI tools. So how are we going to curb such technicalities at a very small stage? I don't know, it would be very hard to dream what would happen of a bank of AI leakage or a deep fake. Our younger generation is actually being vulnerable, that they are actually feeding data day in and day out to such AI tools. And this data is then being used to make deep fakes, voice fakes, to haunt local consumers only.
Right. I was recently in a legal conference talking about cybersecurity, and it was a similar concern over there, because with the deepfakes, the evidence collection has changed. Now you have to take care of how the evidence was there. So you need, people are looking forward to the physical copies, and if there was a camera, bring the hard disk. It should not have been changed, the timestamps, everything. So the evidence collection is also changing, but simultaneously you can always forge it. So there are always ways. So Deepak, just to ask you one more thing about that. So once we are thinking about the organizations, and what is that one piece of advice, memo or a small piece of advice, that people are not doing, the CISOs are not looking at while adopting AI or while looking at AI? What is that thing? And I'm going to come to all of you, so please.
So again, sharing inputs that are available to me in various discussions and forums that we have discussed with senior CISOs. They are making every efforts to see that the organization is completely, first of all, they see that my organization is complied as per as the standards that I am working for my partners, as per as Indian DPDPA Act, right? But the thing that is missing is that sometimes they are too timid to actually openly make this sort of a request in front of their CEOs or boards, that we have to be collectively act as a cyber vigilant organization. Unless and until you have buy-in of your board and CEO, I believe there will be chances where some or the other data leakage will happen, and tomorrow it's going to haunt you, right? With the act now coming in, we also have penalty provisions into it. So I believe unless and until cyber should be a board priority these days, because ultimately everybody's working with what? Data only. Na? Data is the new oil. One who has got data will control the world tomorrow, maybe 5 years from now. So it has to be a collective effort to see to it that our data is secure and private.
Okay. So we have the very first one, which is adoption of the AI at the board level. So Soumak, coming to you, do you want to support that or add more to it? Or both, actually?
No, actually, I'll say, I'll support what he said. What I like to add on is what CISOs need to do and focus is, I think currently CISO, specifically if we talk about India as a region, extremely focused on compliance and risk. That's where we stop, right? With rapid AI adoption and every digital environment getting into AI model, CISOs need to be technical in nature. I'm not saying that they're not technical, but possibly the orientation towards compliance is much more than technical. So it cannot be a checkbook exercise, checkmark exercise, that is it done or not. They need to really understand, interpret, assess, and predict what's going to come up, right? If the CISO doesn't have the skills or doesn't want to do this, the traditional model is going to fall flat. That's what leakage and everything, whatever he mentioned, is going to happen.
Okay, so we have the second pointer where we are looking at the adoption of AI for the CISO first. He should know what is being done and then he should take the decisions for that. Coming to Rajveer. So Rajveer, do you want to add another pointer to it?
Both the gentlemen have covered it very well. Just to add on a little more, that exactly on the same note, I believe that futuristically, the maturity of your security would bring that trust. So ultimately, in any of the industry going forward, because now all industries are AI enabled, how mature you are with your cybersecurity, how well you are managing the show as data, will bring the trust and will bring the business. So again, as I always say that we are no more a function who restrict or control. We are more of an enabler to ensure that we can't stop people to adopt, but we need to ensure that they adopt in the right manner. They know that what they're adopting, what are the pros and cons, what are the risk-driven approach, how much they can utilize it. Ultimately, it is AI owned by humans. And that is exactly what one should know, that how much you can depend on decision making. As Sir very well said that the classification is very much needed, that what data, not everything can be equally risky for any type of industry or banks or anything, right? So we need to classify that what is more problematic for me. Maybe I'm getting an email written from AI is pretty easy, but as far as transaction and banking data is very crucial for us to ensure that we have the right governance, and we can't do everything in one go. Hence the classification is needed, the adoption is needed, awareness is needed, and that factor of human governance and human approach and human decision making should always be there.
That adds actually a lot of pointers to it. We have adoption, we have governance, we have human interaction to it. But still, Sanjay, I think you would have something more to add over here.
So Rajveer is always a little summary of all the gentlemen, to be very honest. When I say, lastly, I would like to say like secure AI adoption. We should believe on the theory of secure AI adoption is not only the flow we are flowing as a workflow, we have to adopt the AIs, understanding the use case, and then plan procedure, governance, risk, compliances, and proceed further. So data is like definitely everything is the data. What AI is doing with the data, what AI associates with the data, what is data security you have, and what you're planning for. Because of now, whatever we are talking about, the company growth, different kind of vertical, different type of organization, they are working for the building a business. Second thing is data is very important in order to avoid the data risk. So these are the things.
Okay. So before we end the session and we have a closing question for all of them, any questions from the audience that you want to ask? Anyone? Anything related to AI, cybersecurity? We have governance. We are targeting we have red teaming, blue teaming, a lot of things. Anything? Okay. Coming to the final question before we close the panel. After 5 years from now, we have AI, we have cybersecurity, both working together. 5 years from now, what does the landscape look like? What are the new things or anything? Maybe on the attacking front, on the protection front, or on the adoption front within the organizations. Anything. 5 years from now, what do you think would be the new phase or new things that we may see? So we can start with Soumak.
5 years down the line, tremendous adoption of AI, of course, right? Lot of automations in place. Do we still have human? Yes. Human will be there in the loop, right? We cannot let machines decide and implement, right? The role of CISOs we just discussed in the previous question will evolve. I see CISO will no more exist after 5 years, possibly. They will convert to a role of a digital trust leader, because they will be the one conduit who will be bringing the trust to the board from cyber perspective. I think I'll stop here. I can add on, but I'll let the other people answer. Otherwise, they'll just say, we'll repeat what Soumak said.
Yes, Deepak, so you want to take it?
See, what Soumak said is absolutely right. Trust would be the second gold nugget along with data, right? So I would see is that AI would certainly be it will be everywhere, right? But will we have the skill sets to work with that AI successfully? We'll have people who will try to manipulate AI, but will we have skilled manpower who's actually going to counter, who's going to make AI user-friendly in a positive manner? That is what I want to see, right? We already are talking about quantum, isn't it? Though we don't have many quantum jobs, but we are already talking about quantum. So we have so many language models now. Can we start somewhere where we educate our youngsters to work on developing LLMs? Why not an engineering student start developing a LLM? I want to see that happening right now, so that we are able, we stand at a level where AI would be or will always be a user-friendly, tool for us, not a foe. This is what I want to see.
That would actually, but that would increase the people or the people, because we are reducing the people within the organization. So that will increase the people on the other side who are using AI to maybe target the organization. So Rajveer, do you want to enhance that, or after 5 years, anything that you think may change?
It's a good assumption. We all can assume in different ways, but I'm very enthusiastic and I believe that AI is a very good tool. Brings good heights to whatever we are doing. And since at least I am growing with the mankind, I'm seeing the technologies coming in. Initially it were a little challenging. Later on we adopted the technology and we have grown. Ultimately what we have seen is that it made some value add. Be it internet, how it got introduced, be it the mobile devices, IoT, quantum computing, and everything will come in next 5 years. The only difference is whatever earlier used to happen in maybe 5-10 years would happen maybe in next 6 months. That's the only difference. The speed has changed with the AI. I'm very enthusiastic to say that I believe that it's AI versus AI. So if it is a win-win situation for the bad actors, it will definitely be helpful for for the people who wanted to enable and protect more and do more stuff, right? So maybe the things that had been done in 6 months when data analysis comes into the picture, or the huge calculations and stuff with quantum computing and things, it will get very easy, and hence the business will grow and the world will grow. So the challenge will remain there. The fight will always keep happening the way that it is happening today, but ultimately all will be uplifted with the AI into the picture.
Okay. Last but not the least, Sanjay. So we know that the armies are going to change, the numbers are going to change. You may have a lesser army within the organization, and the armies on the other hand may increase. But after down the five year down the lane, what do you think would be changing?
So like AI has a pros and cons. After 5 years down the line, I can see in number of the incident would be because of the AI disruptions. If I say the criminal will also using the AI, they will use the AI. Like example, any generative AI and agentic AI doing a digital attack, if something goes wrong, who will be in the prison? We cannot say now call AI in the court. What is the law? What is the regulations? Who will be in the jail? AI, agentic AI, because maybe somebody build a AI, agentic AI, generative AI for a cyber attack, for money laundering, anything, and then they got dead. Who will be in the jail? And then there is no law, regulations, and then there's the biggest problem. Definitely the process is also more. The consequence, I can see the more breach. We should be ready for between do and don'ts, the limitations, and then yes, the guideline and advisories, which is released by the large companies, which is running the domain, and then yes, the top leading CISOs. They have very good understanding who is a successful use case on the pros and cons. But yes, I can see the crime will get increased, to very honest.
That's right. So
On
Soumak wants to add something.
on a lighter note, 5 years down the line, possibly there will be 4 secure agents sitting here, and 1 secure moderator sitting here and talking to each other, and the audience listening. They will be human, of course. You can also deploy your bots and agents to listen and summarize the discussion and just email it to you. That's what is going to happen after 5 years.
But there is always, so I come from the hospitality industry, so there is always one thing that we prefer. There cannot be an AI which can surpass your high touch, which we call. high tech cannot, compensate for high touch. If there is an AI sitting on the reception of a hotel, it may ease the work for the owner, but for the person who is coming on to any of the hotels, even the 5 stars, means I had discussions with Jumeirah and all the big groups. So they are still saying that the people don't interact. They are not interested in interacting with an AI. Even if how simple you make it, whatever futuristic robot you do it, they are not ready to interact over there. And I think that portion where you always have a say for the high touch or a person who's sitting there, a human touch for the emotions and the responses that you may fetch, that would always be there. So that's what I believe. So yeah, yeah, please.
So first of all, thank you very much to the panelists for enlightening us AI security, governance, and risk. My question is regarding cloud micros coming out, and every industry is being taken, government is taken, and everyone is thinking how to approach the security systems, security governance, and risk governance. So I would like to hear from the panel, what are the suggestions for different type of industry, how their security program or the governance program should restructure, or what should be the target? How we should really approach it?
Shall I? Please. So while adoption is the question, I think we must go with the traditional way. Ultimately, it is people, process, technology. And as far as you are aligning, your adoption on these 3 parameters, it is a win-win situation for everyone. So if people are aware, people know, what they're doing, how to use it, where to use it, how much you use it, how to own it. Your processes are aligned in terms of compliances, regulatory compliances, your internal objective of your business and stuff. And then, of course, the technology is aligned, and I'm pretty sure, as we see in future, it is more aligned. Even if you read today, the investment in AI are comparatively very, very high towards the outcome that we are seeing. But while the investment happened, we all know that gradually we'll reach to that level where it will be, a complete change to the world. So again, people, process, technology, and I think that is a helpful way.
There are risk management framework for AI which are evolving. Just to directly address your question, right? One of the very popular worldwide framework is NIST ARM, AI Risk Management Framework, right? And there are evolving framework. ISO has also released their AI framework. So it is evolving industry, right? We are not ready. Suddenly there's a surge. Everyone is coming up with new framework. We have to keep an eye and follow the best practices on the governance and compliance side. On the security side, I think like everyone here in this room has been doing vulnerability assessment pen test for decades or even more. That's like basic, fundamental of keeping us safe, right? We have to have the same concept thrown towards AI adoption, right? Testing the LLMs, the models, injections, RAG testing, MCP testing, right? All the AI models. We have to do that. That's mandatory, right? Otherwise, we'll be either our data will leak or will be breached. Same thing, if you stop doing VAPT today, you are at risk of running exploitable vulnerabilities, right?
I think that answers your question. Yes, thank you so much. So I think I would thank all of you. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much for being a good listener. Thank you so much.